I'm Dave Miller. This is the Bugzilla Project meeting for Wednesday, December 4th. And I don't have anybody with me yet, but we actually have stuff on the agenda, and we've been talking about it on IRC, so I have a couple things I can share. Dylan was going to talk about a few things, but I'm not sure he's going to be here today because he's kind of feeling sick. So now I got to find my agenda again so I remember what I was going to talk about. We did get a report from the packager for CentOS that the CentOS and RHEL 8 Perl modules are now all packaged and available for Bugzilla 5. He's working on Bugzilla 5.2 and that isn't ready yet. And he did say that a lot of the Bugzilla 6 dependencies are hard to package and we're not sure if we're going to have those yet. Debian doesn't seem to have a lot of those packaged either. So that's something we'll have to discuss. And if we had a few more people on the call, we could talk about that, about ideas for what to do about the dependencies on Bugzilla 6. As far as the other thing I had to talk about is the existence of Bugzilla 5.2. 5.2 has not yet been released. That is a new branch we created. The stuff that we're trying to do to get into Bugzilla 6, we're discovering is taking a long enough time that we don't want to delay people getting other kinds of updates for the existing Bugzilla code base. For those that don't know, Bugzilla 6, we're attempting to backport bugzilla.mozilla.org. Or rather, the other way around, we're trying to convert features from upstream that didn't make it into bugzilla.mozilla.org into Mozilla's code base and then use that for Bugzilla 6 because they made major UI improvements on their fork. And so we're just going to take their fork and come back with it and use that for Bugzilla 6 after we clean out, get rid of all the Mozilla specific stuff and port upstream stuff they didn't get into it. And so that leads into what the other branches are. We have another repo called Harmony, which is what that effort is. And then we created a branch called 5.2 on the main Bugzilla repo, which is adding minor feature updates and bug fixes that are more intrusive than what you would expect on a stable branch to create a new stable branch in between Bugzilla 5 and Bugzilla 6, basically. So 5.2 is going to be our next release, and that will be an update on top of 5.0. Instead of a jump ship to Mozilla's fork kind of thing like Bugzilla 6 is going to be. And so there's actually two places where code work is being done on Bugzilla 6. There is a synthesis branch in the Bugzilla repo, which is trying to port Mozilla stuff into upstream. And then there's a Harmony repo, which is trying to port upstream stuff into Mozilla's fork. And at some point, those two are going to meet, and that's going to become Bugzilla 6. And then 5.2 is feature updates on top of 5.0 and bug fixes that are intrusive to try to give people something more modern, updating dependencies, all that kind of thing. Because Bugzilla 5 basically is getting kind of old. So we want updates to the underlying dependencies, make sure everything still works, to have something current for people to run. Without having to wait for Bugzilla 6 because that's still taking us a while. And so that's what Bugzilla 5.2 is going to be. I'm not sure how long it's going to be before we have that ready, but it's looking like we'll probably have something in a few months, I hope. And then I was going to explain what the different branches were. I kind of went into that already. So I think that covers the stuff I had on the agenda. Like I was saying, we were going to have a few more people talk about a few things, but it's without anybody else showing up, that about covers all of it. We've got IRC channel with people willing to answer lots of questions. If you drop in there, the bugzilla.org website has links to that to tell you how to get to our IRC channel. And or you can post on our mailing list and ask if you have questions on any of that. And I guess that about covers all of it. Our next meeting is going to be the calendar says it's going to be January 1st. I don't think that's a good time for a meeting, so I think we'll make it January 8th. Our next meeting is going to be January 8th. That will take care of getting that rescheduled on the calendars and AV apps and stuff for our Air Mozilla presentation. And we will see you all next month.